Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on the German stop of his European tour that pointedly does not include Britain, has told German Chancellor Angela Merkel that India will stay in the Paris climate deal even if the US pulls out. America was on both leaders' minds, and Merkel felt comments she made on Monday doubting America's reliability as an ally needed clarification. Our transatlantic relationship is of the utmost importance, and the statement I made, or what I said recently, is due to the fact that, in the face of the present circumstances, we have additional reasons for us to realise that we have to take our fate in our own hands in Europe.
Unser Schicksal in Europa auch alleine in die Hand nehmen müssen.
Donald Trump's been lambasting Germany for months, using the country's trade surplus with the US as a symbol of how the US has lost its greatness. He did it again on Tuesday, just ahead of the Modi meeting. Merkel tried to get Trump to commit to the Paris Accord at the weekend's G7 meeting. No dice, even if some European diplomats said they saw Trump as a president who listens. Others, however, like Italy's Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni, hosting Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Rome, publicly agree with Merkel.
The UN Security Council warns Yemen is in urgent need of a peace accord to avoid total collapse, but says key parties are unwilling to compromise. An ongoing civil war has put the country in the throes of a humanitarian crisis.
Crisis is not coming. It is not even looming. It is here today, on our watch, and ordinary people are paying the price. What is worse, the threat of famine is driven and exacerbated by conflict. Yemen is not facing a drought. If there was no conflict in Yemen, there would be no descent into famine, misery, disease and death.
It comes as a quarter of the population find themselves on the brink of famine, and a cholera outbreak is expected to sharply escalate. The UN is aiming to stop the conflict from spreading to the port city of Hodeida, where some 80% of Yemen's food imports arrive. A suicide car bomb has been detonated near the German embassy in Kabul, killing at least 80 people and wounding around 350, Afghan authorities report. The explosion, one of the deadliest in the capital recently, comes at the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Police spokesman Basir Mujahid said the target of the blast was unclear. It occurred in a central area of the city near to many foreign embassies, the presidential palace and government offices. The German, French and Chinese embassies are all said to have been hit, but no diplomatic casualties have been reported. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the blast. The Taliban militant group denies any involvement and has condemned attacks causing civilian casualties.
A Czech court has ruled that a Russian citizen can be extradited to either the US, where he's wanted for hacking social networks, or Russia, where he's wanted for the lesser charge of cyber theft. The ruling leaves the final decision in the hands of the Czech Justice Minister. The lawyer for suspect Yevgeny Nikulin has already filed a complaint challenging the US extradition. We will appeal. I think we'll appeal the extradition to the United States because we have no objection to his extradition to Russia. Czech police arrested 29-year-old Nikulin in Prague last year in an operation involving the FBI. His case relates to a 2012 breach of the social networking company LinkedIn that it previously said may have compromised the credentials of 100 million users. Russia then issued its own application for extradition based on an online theft.
Russia has fired 4 cruise missiles against targets from the self-proclaimed Islamic State in Syria, according to Russian state news agencies quoting the defense ministry in Moscow. The reports say they were launched from a warship and a submarine in the eastern Mediterranean, aimed at targets near the ancient city of Palmyra. The ministry claims they struck heavy equipment and killed fighters that ISIL had transferred from its stronghold of Raqqa. The Russian government warned the US, Turkey and Israel in advance of the move.
The US military claims to have successfully intercepted an intercontinental range missile for the first time. The test represents a critical milestone for the Pentagon's defense system. The interceptor was launched from a silo in California and hit a test missile fired from the Pacific. The development comes amid heightened tensions with North Korea. The isolated nation's nuclear ambitions have injected a new sense of urgency into building an effective defense against the country and its unpredictable leader.
En el momento pongo espacio comercial, ahora nuestro back nos informa en Deportivo.